Yo, what's the story? In today's video, I'm going to go through the essentials when it comes to traveling light, bringing a whole load of camera gear and all the necessities. Now, it's not as easy as just throwing a whole camera and a few bits and pieces into a bag. There's a thought process that goes into the whole thing. This does not apply to a commercial shoot because that's very, very different. That's a whole absolute mountain of gear. This one though is about to make you a little bit more efficient and something that I've only recently started doing. I've dumped the big camera backpack and I've got a little sling bag. This is the Nomadic, or if you're in Europe, Gomatic Peter McKinnon sling. It's pricey for what it is, but the quality of this thing is absolutely insane. Now, I know if you're looking at the top-down shot up here, you're going, how the is all this stuff going to get into this? So let me take you through the thought process of what you need to bring with you, and this has covered me time and time again. First up, batteries, all right? So extra battery, always leave a battery in the camera simply because it's less space. So we've got a spot here. For this, I can get a battery in here. That's the first thing. So think about power. Now, how are you going to power the power? USB-C cable. Given the cameras that I have, at least anyway, nearly every camera now is powered by USB-C. You can actually just charge it up, or you can bring a small multi-charger, but always a USB-C cable is good. And this kind of dictates how many cables you need to bring. You don't have to bring thousands of cables. You can just bring maybe one or two cables and get it in. So we have got that in there. So that's the power scenario taken care of. Maybe bring an extra one if you have two cameras. And speaking of two cameras, you never know, besides your phone, you never know when you might need another camera. So this is the GoPro Hero 12 Black, also powered by USB-C. So I'm gonna put this in here. Now, we spoke about extra batteries. Extra batteries for the GoPro Hero 12. This little case here doubles as a charging case. So essentially what that means is batteries stay in there and you plug this in and this charges the batteries. Something that a lot of people will not really bother their butt bringing on a trip, even a small one, is a light. You never know the scenario that you're going to be in where you need a light. So there's a ton of these small lights out there. This is probably my favorite. It's from a brand called Some More. I think they're an offshoot of Small Rig, and you've got all different effects, colors, everything, right? It's tiny, it's USB-C charged as well, which is super useful because we have that one cable that's taking care of everything. Then it's got a 1/4 inch thread up here. So that's going in, and you can have multiple mounting options with this, or you could have it on a little tabletop handheld tripod, depending on the shot that you're getting. So this is also something that's going to go into the bag, but I'm going to put that in last, and there's a reason for it. Next up is storage. I'm kind of paranoid about leaving SD cards in cameras. We all do it, but you don't want the camera and the card to just get corrupt. So sometimes I always feel it's nearly best to put your SD cards into something like a dedicated SD card holder. And speaking of dedicated, this is a PJ Whitetech SD card reader and holder. So there is a little USB-C cable here. We're all about the USB-C these days. Hey, Apple. So this cable here just simply pops out if I had nails and didn't eat them all the time. And then we have our nice little USB-C cable that plugs into our computer or tablet or whatever that we are bringing. Every camera bag should have a couple of lens cloths just in there, but sometimes they're just not enough, especially when it comes to dust, because lens cloths do get dusty and you spend more time trying to clean the dust off of the lens that you just cleaned because the lens cloth had dust. So what I've got here is the Nitecore BB21 photo blower. This thing, and thanks to Nitecore for sending this, is again USB-C charged. It has power settings. So what's a blower? So essentially, this is on full belt. It's a really good idea to have it. And even if you've got ports that you just want to give a dust out, maybe there's some weird connection issue that's happening. A lot of the times it can be dust. Different power settings. But more importantly, you've got a brush. So we can actually clean as we go. Really simple idea, but man, it is so effective. So this also goes into the bag. One of the other things that I don't put into the bag, but it's so important to have access to it, is music. So when you're on location, wherever you are, it's always important to be thinking about music, right? So I use Epidemic Sound. I've been using Epidemic Sound for, I don't know, like 1 trillion years. They have one of the most gigantic library of sound effects and music on the internet. Now, why would you use a service like Epidemic Sound? Well, more importantly, your YouTube channel can be your business, it can be your life. We've all put blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you don't want some crappy piece of music from some random spot on the internet getting you a copyright strike. And we all know what happens. 3 strikes, channel is gone. That's one thing that I always have on a trip. I bring them everywhere. I bring them on my phone. Their Epidemic Sound app is amazing. So what I will do, and it's so important that if you're in a spot, like there was this particular spot in New York, I had the music in mind to kind of pan up to Summit 1 from the street. I had this kind of crescendo music in my mind, and I was able to get it in a couple of minutes with Epidemic Sound. So saved onto a playlist. So straight away, I'm saving tracks because you're kind of, when you're more in the moment, there's so much music in Epidemic Sound. It's so simple to use, and their AI sound match thing. You just upload the clips and artificial intelligence suggests a whole bunch of music based on what's in the clip. And it is scarily good. Anyway, I've left a link in the description for you guys if you want to check out Epidemic Sound for yourself. Next things to be dragging into the bag here, let me get this in, is a camera tool. Okay, I didn't even put this in, I don't know. Is a camera tool. This is a smaller camera tool because with a lot of cameras, especially if you've cages or whatever, you are going to be from time to time just need to, you know, twiddle around or screw something in or tighten it up, especially when it comes to tripods because they can go loose, or you might just need a screwdriver. Camera tool, there's so many camera tools out there. This is one that I just happened to pick up, and this works incredibly well. It's just small, it's compact, really good thing to have on a trip. We've all got phones. We know sometimes it's just easier and faster to write things down. I'll always try and carry a notebook, generally within a travel bag. This is a tiny Pete's Pirate Life notebook, so this can go in. Then I've also got a little bolt action pen, also Pete's Pirate Life IP. And I'm literally going to stick this in to where the camera tool is on with the pen clasp. Boom, done, right? Microphone. There's so many different microphones out there for cameras, whether it's wireless lavs or something like this Sony ECBM1, I think it's called, which is what I'm recording on right now as well. This just goes in kind of towards the end. You'll find somewhere, a lot of mics are really, really small. This is kind of one of the bigger mics, but it will fit in. So I'm just going to get my notebook in here, handily to this pocket. I've kind of designed this setup here where I've got the GoPro in there, but there's enough room if I want to put in a different lens. But for now, this is what I want to bring with me. So I'm going to take this camera down here. So bye-bye top-down shot. I really hope I pressed stop in the record, or we'll have a corrupted card. All right, so camera goes in, generally make the most space for it. And what I've got a couple of different mounts on this as well. This is the F22 mount from Ulanzi and Falcom, or it'll also kind of act as a Arca Swiss mount, or the cage is Arca Swiss as well. So that goes in. Why did I just look up going, where's the camera? Yeah. All right, so we have space here for our mic, a couple of different ways. Again, smaller mics, so we're in there. And then last but not least, a handheld tripod. Not necessarily for going, hey guys, but more importantly for if you're doing a time lapse or you're just doing something that you just want to get the camera onto something really, really quickly. So this just slots in there, and then that's kind of more or less it. So I'm going to zip this up. Quality of this bag is really, really, I mean, it's really good. And then finally, on a travel trip, you may need a tripod of the larger size. And this is the Ulanzi and Coleman one. I've got some mole straps on here, and this literally just connects on, and you are good to go forever. So this is a bag that you're not dragging around a heavy backpack. Obviously, you're probably going to bring clothes and whatever with you. There we go. You're going to bring clothes or whatever, so that'll be in another bag. You'll have a tablet or whatever in another little carry-on bag. But when it comes to going out and about, and this absolutely drove me nuts in New York. It drove me so nuts in New York trying to bring around even a small backpack on a travel trip and a holiday trip with cameras and all that. It drove me so nuts, I actually made a video about it that you can check out here, and you'll get a good idea of how good, and maybe bad, this Peter McKinnon nomadic bag is. And subscribe if you want to make better vids.